Hey.
The Coffee Club with Alexander Rudolph, the light worker, in the garden of God, straight from the kingdom of God for the glory of God. You know, I recently did a segment about the Bible and its importance and how does it stack up to other books, what does it mean. But before I get into this stuff, I just want you to ask yourself, why are you reading the Bible? What do you want? Why do you read these other books? Why do you read the Quran? Why are you even involved in these religions? You know, what are you trying to get out of it? My personal feeling, if your goal is to get to heaven or to prevent yourself from going to hell, it's foolery. If you're reading this stuff to become a god, it's foolery. You know, it's not about that. You know, it's mainly you just want to be prosperous in life, be able to live comfortable, take care of your family, pursue your dream, create, you know, and things like that. It's not about having like millions of dollars and ruling everything and controlling everything. That's not what it's about. You know, so I just want you to know that and just think about why do you even enter this stuff? What you're trying to do. So now, as you can see, I showed you various books, and I read all the books. I've already told you if you have the mind that's strong enough to where you can get into all this stuff, get into it. You know, but you don't need it because you really have all you need in the Bible. That I also told you. You know, the Bible basically cuts down to the chase if you can understand it. Um, Now you got these books here. You got Buddha, you got Hinduism, you know, you have the Quran, you have the life of Adam and Eve, you got some stuff about the Dead Sea Scrolls, you know, you got some stuff here about fighting demons, you got women in Islamic law, Gerald Massey. The Gerald Massey lectures are very strong lectures. If you want to know about like Gnostics and historical Christianity, you know, let me read a certain passage out of here. And the reason why I'm going to read this is because black people don't, I always say this, we don't know. Because of course you're going to ask me, what? How come he's reading a nutcracker talk about this stuff? You're going to ask me a foolish question. Because, you know, guys think they know so much. You understand? But let me tell you why I drink this nutcracker. You know, and let me read this from the Gerald Massey lectures. This is on page 210. And this is what he writes. Our customs of drinking strong liquors, snuffing most potent powders, and smoking narcotic herbs, which are now, right now, today, not at the time, but now, are besotting and degrading the race so much that our protoplasm and protozoa have to come into being half fuddled with nicotine so that our children are doomed by the heredity to become smokers and drinkers. Now, we're not supposed to be addicted to this stuff. We're not supposed to use it the way that we use it. Now, if you go further on down, he'll tell you that these very customs have been bequeathed to us as sacred survivals from the times when the trance conditions were induced by such means. That's in the Gerald Massey. I'm drinking this alcohol right now. It's only to induce a certain level of trance. That's all it is. I'm not here I'm not drinking this to be on, oh, I'm drunk acting stupid. Is that what you see me doing? You see, this is what you're supposed to deal with. You know, if you smoke marijuana, it's to induce a trance. You know, steady with that. You know, if you drinking a little, I'm not running around acting like a drunkard. You know, I'm just having enough, you know, just feeling decent about it. But yeah, this is the type of stuff that I do. I read all of these books. I read all of these books, and I'll tell you easily the Bible's number one. They got here the Book of Giants. I told you about that, included with the Book of Enoch. This gonna tell you about the giants and, you know, the story about Noah, Enoch when they took him to heaven. This is gonna teach you about the archangels. This is gonna teach you about Azazel. So this is something that you really want to get into. Here you got the life of Adam and Eve. The Bible could only give you but so much about the story. You understand? See, the Bible has to cover most of a lifetime, most of all existence, so it only gives you like small pictures of everything that ever happened. So if you want to know more about Adam and Eve, I suggest that you read a book like this so you could get further detail on that. Same thing, there's a book that I don't have here that I lent out. It's called The Infancy Gospels of Jesus Christ. If you want to know about Jesus' childhood, you can get a book like that. You know what I mean? So you can know more. Because the Bible is going to tell you a little bit about his childhood, but there's a lot of stories out there about his childhood that you wouldn't even think exist. You got here, I love this book, Women and Islamic Law. If you read this book, by the time you finish reading this book, you would understand more why women deal with what we perceive as a negative to be a part of Islam for women. You know, this book explains all the benefit for women, for a female through Islam. And it make you understand why they do what they do, why they make the sacrifices they make, because if you carry out the faith of that, women are actually treated quite well. You have the Quran, and like I said, you got this book here, National Sunday Law. The reason why I like this book because it speaks about how there was a commandment taken out from the 10 Commandments, and how they actually broke the 10th commandment into 2 commandments so it can remain as 10 commandments rather than be 9. So if you want to look into that, that's in the National Sundays Law on page 32, the last paragraph going into page 33. You could read into stuff like that. This book here, They Shall Expel Demons, this right here really allowed me to understand how